trainees started their career here at Supercup, and in Germany, the part for learn car repairing and stuff is always combined. You have practical parts and you have theoretical parts in the school. So I think that's a pretty interesting thing if you go that way, because you get a lot of both parts from the knowledge, from the theory and the practical part, and it's always at the same time. 1 week sometimes you are in the company, and another week you're at school, or sometimes you do have it in different bigger parts that you are for weeks in the school and then for weeks in the company. But the good thing is then you can practice what you learn and switch between these things. Yes, so those are the important things for us. Of course, we do have more departments than the technical part, like HR or marketing or sales department, but the main focus, as I said, is the technical part, because it's or the service field, because it's the biggest unit in our company. Yes. So far for a short impression of our company, and yeah, I'm happy to get questions, and let's get in touch. What are you looking for? What the things is that you want to know about us, or about the branch, or the things.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think it's very interesting to see how it works in your company, what are the professions that you need. So actually we have just a technical problem. I'm not looking anymore. Okay. I have no access to the public chat at the moment. Okay. I'm trying to log it inside. But I have 2 questions that they were before. Maybe at the same time I will try to get into the email and public chat. So the first question was about someone who was telling us that he's a car painter. I think he's not speaking any German. So how are the chances for him to apply and to work for you, the company?
First of all, to already have carpenter skills is pretty good, because the technical part it comes with the territory. You have to have it. Of course, you have to have German language skills. B1 is a minimum. Best case is B2 and more. Of course, if you have B1 and you have technical skills, then it's also able to give them to give a chance for both sides, because I'm sure your German skills improving very fast if you're working in this language. So, but minimum it would be nice if you have B1 as least. More sure would be nice, but you have to have a ground to start from for the language skills that you can get into the work, especially because of all these technical words and themes that you have to know, that you can chat with your colleagues in the garage. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you offer after that German language courses for the candidates coming from abroad? So let's say that there is a candidate with a B1 and maybe he wants to improve his German language skills afterwards. So do you help them to do some courses? Do you organize it in your company, or how it works?
If it's a fit for both sides, we do have these options to improve the German, because we do have connections here for the Car Dealer Association, and they are also offering German courses, especially with a view to the technical parts also. So we do have the chances options to improve German skills. Of course we do.
Okay, so thank you. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay, then another questions regarding the support to find apartment. So it's a big questions, actually not just today, but actually for all the candidates that are contacting us, if the employers help them to find accommodation, an apartment, where to live, maybe for the first 1-2 months or something like that.
Of course, that's also what we do, because we know it's a huge thing to get if you're in a foreign country and you don't know the region, that you have to find an apartment accommodation. That's we support them, of course. So with the regional network, what we have, and because you have to have a apartment or something to live for before you can work.
And I think that's the good thing when you work in a family company, as you told us before, so that you are just a team and try to help everyone to achieve to the goals that they are looking for. Thank you. Then another questions. How are your experience till now with candidates coming from abroad, coming from outside Germany? Maybe is there a difference between the candidates coming from the European country or not European countries? Can you say something about it?
We do have experiences with both candidates from the European country, which is of course easier because of all this visa stuff, but we also have candidates from other countries. As an example, at the moment we are in contact with a candidate from Turkey, and we are also learning every day how it is to get then the papers for different steps. But that's what we also do. For us, is the important thing is that the skills and German skills are a fit, or for both sides, that we have an idea that could work. And then after that, of course, we do a support in that things, what even we could do, like, I don't know the English word for it, sorry, the beschleunigte Fachkräfteverfahren. That's a funny German thing.
Is it something means, fast track line, something like that?
Okay, yeah. Of course, but we do a support as far as we are able to support in these different fields like visa or accommodation.
Okay, then another question is regarding your work experience. Is it important that the candidate has work experience, or depends also on the profession? So maybe for the car painters, it's important, and for, I don't know, mechanical engineers is something. Are there any difference?
You have to have a work experience, especially also in the technical field, because otherwise it's hard to get into this level of technique. Especially with the new cars, you have different things that you have to know if you work on the engines or something like that. So you have to have work experience in that field, not especially in a Mercedes garage or something like that, but you have to work on cars. And
Okay, thank you. Then can you maybe show us or switch to the slide when you have your email address, the account of your company? So I think it will be, okay, very nice. So I think that everyone who wants to send you the CVs and the application can send it to your email address. I think it will be nice to get some to get some applications, and maybe you also find someone at this event. It will be nice if this event is also successful for you as an employer, and on the other side for the candidates that are here today and are registered also at the platform. So unfortunately, I'm not getting inside the public chat, so I cannot see the other questions. So let's say that the most important thing, even for your company, are the German language skills, the work experience, and after that, I think everyone is free to contact you and send the applications. And after that, of course, you will contact them to send them I don't know, invitation maybe for a job interview, or just a letter to say that, okay, unfortunately is not working at this time. So, but I think it was really clear that the German language skills are important. So I really thank you for being here today. And I hope that you will get a lot of applications for our candidates that are here today, and wish you all the best, and see you maybe at our next event.
Yes, would be nice. And thank you so much for having us, for the organization, for this event. And yeah, a lot of success for the next hours. And thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
On the work of Targeted Mobility Scheme of Germany, TMS Germany in short. TMS is a program of the European Union. My name is Traude Kester-Posiven, and I am the head of unit of the German TMS branch. During the next minutes, I will give you an overview of the work of TMS Germany and what we offer to job seekers like you, and how you can benefit from our projects. If you are in the situation where you would like to work and live in another EU country, but you have many questions and you may above all also face some financial challenges, then TMS is for you. This may lead you to question if your plan is actually feasible. In this case, don't worry, TMS has your back. Our TMS projects are designed to help you overcome many of the mobility obstacles that you may face. As members of the EURES network and part of EURES strategy, not only do we provide you with all the information and guidance you need, but we also offer you substantial financial support for many different aspects of commencing work in another EU country. So let's have a closer look at what exactly you can apply for. We offer financial assistance for 6 purposes which try to address different needs you may have before arrival, during moving, and after arrival. Before your arrival, you may not have a job yet, but you're invited to a job interview that requires you to attend in presence. For this case, we offer a job interview trip allowance. You may also want to build or improve your language skills. For this purpose, we offer a preparatory language course allowance, which funds a language course of your choice in your home country or in your country of destination. Another challenge before moving to your target country might be to get your professional qualifications recognized, which can be an expensive process. Therefore, TMS offers an allowance to pay for your professional recognition in the country of destination. Then, while moving, you will need financial means to pay for your travel tickets, sending your stuff to your new address, or buying new stuff, buying tickets for your children or a person in need of care you are responsible for, or even you yourself may have special needs that come with living with a disability or living in an outermost region of the European Union. All this can be quite expensive, and therefore we have 3 different allowances you can apply for. A general allowance for relocation, an allowance to pay for the relocation of your children or persons in need of care, and a supplementary trip allowance for those from disadvantaged groups or the outermost regions of the European Union. Now I would present you a real-life example. Manon, a candidate who particularly benefited from the travel allowance. Manon is a musician and pianist from France. who had already made some international experience during her studies. As she received a job offer from the opera in Heidelberg, she contacted the French employment services and later received counseling from a EURES advisor. She then decided to apply for the targeted mobility schemes. As a pianist, she needs and owns acoustic piano for 10 years already, and this was a real problem to her. With the help of TMS, she was able to cover the costs related to transporting the piano to her new home. Of course, there are some eligibility criteria to consider when applying for TMS allowances. You must be at least 18 years old, an EU citizen including Iceland and Norway, or a third country national with permanent EU residency. You must not have lived and worked in your country of destination before, so you cannot be considered to be a returnee facing less obstacles, of course. Your goal should be to stay and sustainably integrate in your country of destination. Therefore, seasonal work is not funded. EURES and EURES TMS are dedicated to ensure fair labor mobility. So we require employment contracts to have at least the minimum wage of your target country. Employment contracts must have a duration of at least 6 months and be at least 50% of the national full-time equivalent. The employment has to be subject to national social security contributions and, of course, comply with national labor law. How does applying for TMS funding work? To apply for TMS funding, the first thing you have to do is to consult a EURES advisor and receive counseling on living and working in your country of destination. Note, please, this step is crucial and a requirement to apply for TMS funding. If the EURES advisor finds that you are a suitable candidate to apply for TMS funding, they will contact the TMS team and ask if there are funds available to apply for. Our team will then check, and if there are still funds available and if requirements are met, we will confirm the blocking of funds and happily receive your application. If the application is found to be eligible and the documents are complete and filled out correctly, etc., your application will be approved and you will receive your allowance. Now, I would like to share with you the TMS success story of the engineer Lukas. Lukas had always dreamed of working abroad, especially in Germany. In fact, the success story of German engineering inspired him to pursue his studies. TMS supported him by funding a 2-month intensive German language class in his home country to prepare him for the relocation and for his new job. As I said before, a very important component of the TMS program is the EURES counseling. Please note that this is a hard requirement. You cannot apply for TMS funding if you have not been counseled by EURES advisor. But what is in it for you? EURES advisors are trained specialists. They provide you with many information you need, guide you through your mobility journey, and may even be helpful with finding a job. They will answer your questions, for instance. Where can I find work? What salary can I expect in the country of destination? What are my labor rights? Which insurance do I need? And whom can I contact for further specific information? To find a EURES advisor close to you or in your country of destination, feel free to scan the QR code on this slide. It will lead you to the EURES advisor search website. Over the years, we have gone through different project cycles. Each year since 2020, TMS Germany funded over 1,000 candidates ready to take up work in a new country all over Europe. In over 70% of the cases, The courage and energy of candidates like you, supported by EURES counseling and the TMS funding, led to successful social and economic integration of the candidates. We now come to our final real-life example and TMS success story. Munich, like many cities all over the world, for example in Germany and also in Ireland, has a strong demand for educators. The International Service for Federal Employment Agency talked to 12 kindergarten teachers from Spain, who all received stable and safe jobs in the Munich area. Thanks to TMS, they were able to attend a language course on the job. Their employers released them from work so they could be present at the language schools while paying them a full-time salary. Today, they are all firm team members and integrated successfully into Germany's society and the childcare facilities. This is the end of our presentation. I would like to thank you for your attention. If you have any further questions, please feel free to visit our website. You may also use the QR code on this slide, which will lead you directly to a film which explains how TMS works more in depth. And now, looking forward to hearing from you and support you as you turn your dream into reality. Bye-bye.
मैम आपको आपका ये नंबर है ना, ठीक है मैम, मैं नंबर सेव कर रहा हूँ। मैं उन नंबर को काउंटर को लाल बार वार्निंग दे रहा हूँ, अगर वो मैंने आ गए ना फिर स्टार्ट कर दूँगा, ठीक है।
So hello again, we are here again to discuss about another topic now, but before starting and introducing our next guest, I just wanted to let you know that we have some technical problems with the public chat at the moment, so our technical team is working on it and trying to fix it out. So I think that in a few minutes everything will be okay. And let's go ahead with another guest today. Our EURES advisor from Berlin, Katja Klink, is with us today. So thank you, Katja, for being here. And I think that a lot of candidates that are here online and live at the moment are very interested and excited to hear something about the labor market in Berlin, because the most of the candidates wants to work in Berlin. So thank you for being here, and yours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. A warm welcome from Berlin to all listeners. My name is Katja Klink, and I'm working as an EURES advisor in Germany's beautiful capital, Berlin. I hope everyone is very interested in listening to my presentation. And yes, now I see my presentation. Now you see our famous Brandenburg Gate on the screen, and also our mascot, the Berlin Bear. I'm very happy to invite you to a short excursion during this European Online Job Day to our green metropolis, Berlin, and I hope many people feel attracted and apply afterwards for the grand diversity of available jobs here. First, I would like to say something about the lifestyle in Berlin, and then afterwards I will switch to the information regarding the labor market. And of course, due to the limited time, I can only give you a short insight. For more details, please don't hesitate to contact us via email. You see my email address on the screen. And at the end of the presentation, I will give you more information. Let's start our journey with some fun facts about Berlin. I guess many of you might have been here yet and walked around the city center, but did you know that Berlin has the largest open-air gallery in the world? There's the 1,360 meters East Side Gallery. These are the wall leftovers from the Cold War. During this period, Berlin was divided into two parts from 1961 until 1989, the West and the East, but luckily these times are over now. Some people might worry about the weather in Berlin, but I have good news. Berlin has more museums than rainy days, all in all 190. And so you always have something nice to do when the sun hides behind the clouds. And there's so much art, history, and science to discover. Third, did you know Berlin has more waterways than Venice or Amsterdam? All in all, 180 kilometers of waterways with almost 1,700 bridges. And do you know our unique traffic light, the beloved Ampelmännchen? You will encounter this relic from GDR times, not only in souvenir shops, but also in everyday life when crossing the pedestrian traffic lights. And last but not least, there is our TV tower. It's the tallest building in Germany with 368 meters. And there are so many steps, but don't worry, luckily there's an elevator that drives you safely up to a platform. And there's even a famous restaurant that can even turn, so you can enjoy a 360-degree view. Of course, we have a very, very vibrant social life in the capital, and we even say it's the city where the bear raves. So the capital attracts many, many people from all over the world, and people from over 170 nations live here. These are 23% of the population. Most of them come from Poland, Turkey, and Ukraine. And please feel invited. You will find all types of restaurants here, supermarkets and food markets. You will find a big variety of cultural institutions and foreign communities to dive into the colorful flavor of the capitals. And of course, there's certainly a wide range of art and music scene to discover, and I can promise you there won't be any boring days in Berlin, and everyone will find something to their taste. As I already mentioned, Berlin is a very green capital. It's a very widespread capital with 892 square kilometers, and it's the greenest metropolis in Germany. 30% of the area is covered with forested and greenland, and the city itself, it's surrounded by many lakes, what is really nice in summertime. And we have over 2,500 parks to relax. Talking about the transport in Berlin, what might be very important for you, we have a very well-developed public transport in the city and in the outskirts. So there are undergrounds, trains, ferries, trams, and buses that take you safely from point A to B, even to the outskirts, 24/7. And this is a big advantage because you don't necessarily need a car. I also put the costs for a 2-hour ticket. It's €3.80 at the moment. For a daily ticket, you pay €10.60. And there's also the opportunity to get a Germany ticket. It's €58 per month. I have good news for our sport enthusiasts. There's a well-developed cycling network, and in all areas of the capital. And for those who prefer to take the car, of course, we have the highways. You probably might ask yourself, can I afford a life in Berlin? Of course, it always depends on your personal lifestyle, but compared to other European capitals, Berlin is situated quite in the middle of the cost ranking, and it is slightly cheaper than, for example, London, Oslo, Paris, or Amsterdam. So the monthly expenses of a single person in Berlin are around 2,000 euros. Food prices are still quite affordable here for a single person, around 250 euros per month. I've listed some prices for a lunch and cinema tickets and museums. And for those who come with children, I have good news. There's free childcare in Berlin. The only obstacle or the only challenge you have to overcome is probably finding an apartment. And it's also the rent accounts for the largest share of costs. So it's very hard to find an apartment. And then the second you need to pay for the apartment, it's very expensive. So I often give the advice, ask your employer, that might help you with finding an apartment, or you can share flats. There are many portals where you can find single rooms, and sometimes it is better to live in the outskirts of Berlin and you take the public transport. And also in our times where you do a lot of remote work, you can easily work from the outskirts of Berlin. Switching to the labor market in Berlin, I would like to start with some good news. We have more than 20,000 open job vacancies at the moment. You can find them on the job portal of the Public Employment Service or on the EURES portal. We have positions for assistants, but in most cases for skilled workers. And I will herewith repeat it, we are in big need for skilled workers. I'm often asked, what exactly is a skilled worker? A skilled worker is, in the meaning of the law, a foreigner who has a qualification of at least 2 years. It can be a vocational training or a foreign vocational training that is recognized here, or university degree. Berlin is well known for its spirit, starting up companies, and it has a very vibrant startup scene, especially in the ICT sector. And we have a mix of traditional big industrial companies and a strong medium-sized enterprise sector. Where do we have shortages exactly? Of course, we need people in healthcare, and I will talk about the sector in a few seconds a little bit more detailed. We need people in education, we need teachers and educators, but be aware, all these positions are regulated positions, and you need to check on the recognition portal how you can recognize your degree. We need many people in construction, skilled workers for the installation of heating pumps, solar panels. We need electricians, welders. We are in the middle of a transformation process of a green transformation process, and we are looking for people that are supporting us in this whole process. If you are a bus driver or a truck driver, you are always welcome. We need many people in transport, and we need also workers in temporary work and changing remote locations, especially in the context of overhead power line constructions. So if you have experience in this area, don't hesitate to contact me. I can give you the contact to the companies. So this was the shortage. On the other side, we have a surplus. We have a surplus of employees in the cultural and creative sectors. I've already mentioned many people want to live in Berlin because it's very cool to live here. On the other hand, we don't have job vacancies in this field. The same situation we have at the moment in retail and trading because of the economic situation, and also the situation that we have a lot of online trading, so the sector suffers a little bit from bankruptcies. The ICT sector, that means the information and communications technology sector, I put in between. I will talk about this later in more details. We get a lot of demand for the sector and many requests from abroad. That's why I put it on another screen. Be aware that for almost all the jobs, you need a qualification and, of course, German language skills. You need to check every single job offer. In general, we say for assistance job, you need B1, for qualified job, B2, and jobs on an academic level, you need C1 language skills. There might be exceptions, and a few sectors. Here I'm talking about the ICT sector, where you have a chance to get a contract without knowing any German, but it can be always the case that you get dismissed and then you need to look for another position. And at the moment, it's very, very hard without any German language skills. Let's have a closer look to the healthcare sector. As other European countries too, we are looking for medical doctors, pharmacists, professional and assistant nurses. Hospitals and homes for elderly people have a huge need for them. We are facing, due to the demographic change, a growing number of older people that need care. That means there are many, many opportunities to get a job in the sector, and it's also the sector where you can easily climb the career ladder. In case you decide, in case you decide for a vocational training, there's also a short version available in Berlin. Of course, you can also do a normal version of vocational training to become a professional nurse. But here we have an exception, and there's vocational training for 1.5 years possible. So, talking about the income, the average gross income for assistants is around about 3,100 euros. Professionals earn around about 4,000 euros per month, plus money for night shifts and also for the weekend shifts. In this case, I have to say most of the professions in healthcare are regulated. and especially if you want to work in a hospital in Berlin, you need to have a recognized degree. So please check on the recognition portal, and there you can find all the information, what kind of institution is responsible to you, who need, which institution you need to contact, and for the recognition process, B2 language skills are required. Now I want to switch to the ICT sector. At the moment, more than 100,000 employees are working in this sector. Berlin is the large job market for IT specialists in Germany, and it's the startup metropolis of Europe when it comes to games industry, social media, IT, and mobile business. Berlin is the location of the IFA, Internationale Funkausstellung, the world's largest trade fair for consumer electronics. And it's the location of large international companies such as Telecom, Cisco, Siemens, IBM, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, or eBay. And there's a lot of international recruiting, what is good news for you. And thanks to this, IT positions in Berlin are nevertheless filled more quickly than in other federal states. So please apply for the jobs. But on the other hand, I have to say this sector is very, very complex and heterogeneous. And even though you might think, or in this field, it is really sufficient to have English language skills, it's not. For almost every position, you need German language skills. I always recommend B2 for positions in consultation, or when it comes to IT administration, when you have to deal with clients, B2 or C1 is recommended. Sometimes companies also ask for a driver's license, and also this sector suffers from the economic situation, from the current stop of the economic growth. And I also have to say, you need a lot of working experience, and sometimes on an academic level, very specific skills are required. The wages are very good, as you might see in the blue cloud. For IT specialists or data analysts, it's between 4,000 and 7,000 euros. For software developers and programmers, it's more, between 5,000 and 7,000 euros, but it can be even more, depends on your skills. I often get many requests in this field, and then people are asking me regarding internships. How can I get an internship in Germany? I would like to do an internship for a couple of months. Let me tell you something. An internship, unless you are still a student in Germany, it is very hard to get, because an internship has to be paid in Germany and cannot be a contract where you are a worker free of charge. That's why the companies, they are not so interested in internship. For them, it's a time investment. They are mainly looking for people that are intending to stay. Let's have a closer look on Berlin's business landscape. As I already mentioned, we have a good mix of traditional industrial companies, a strong medium-sized business sector, and young startup companies. At the moment, there are approximately 380 medical technology and 300 biotechnology companies, 35 pharmaceutical companies, and more than 145 clinics. We have many companies in transport, mobility, and logistics, especially in the airport region and in the outskirts of Berlin. Berlin is one of the leading IT locations in Germany, as I already mentioned, and is a unique cultural industry metropolis. And also when it comes to energy and environmental technologies, we are developing into a research and development location. Then last but not least, there's the photonics sector, and it is a growing sector with over 400 companies in Berlin and Brandenburg. So on the next screen, I've listed the biggest companies here in Berlin, starting with Deutsche Bahn, with the trains, then Bayer company, the pharmaceutical companies. Then we have Zalando, we have BVG. BVG is the public transport and one of the biggest employer here in Berlin. We have HelloFresh and Coca-Cola that are producing here. We have the big energy company Vattenfall. We have Charité and Vivantes. Charité is the biggest hospital in Europe. We have Siemens, and of course a couple of automotive industries, and last but not least, the airport region, what is a big employer. So unfortunately, we also have to talk about unemployment in Berlin. As you can see, our unemployment rate is at the moment 9.7%, and you see two lines on the screen. The dark blue line is for Berlin and the light blue line is for Germany. And you see our unemployment rate is much higher than the average in Germany. And you might ask, I told you about 20,000 open job vacancies. How can that be? Of course, there are some reasons for that. There is obviously a mismatch between job requirements and applicants. We have more a job market for skilled workers, and on the other hand, we have a high amount of unskilled, unemployed workers. So this is a big reason. That's why I really tell you, you need to have a qualification. Then, of course, we are capital and we have a high fluctuation. There are many people that are moving from and to Berlin. Many people are looking for jobs in creative sectors. And of course, unfortunately, we are still suffering from the consequences of the pandemic and the Ukrainian war. My last focus in this presentation is the income in Berlin. Also very difficult to generalize the topic. There are many influencing factors. Of course, we have high wages in the ICT sector and health and financial sectors, and low wages in retail and tourism, or in all the sectors where we have surplus. Of course, the salary depends definitely on the size of the company. Bigger companies can offer better working conditions than smaller companies. And of course, what is very important is your professional working experience. And sometimes when you have really specific skills, you can earn more money. The higher your education, the better. That's everywhere the case, and of course it depends on your personal negotiation, your personal impression during the job interviews. So be clever and have a good self-marketing. And from my side, good luck. So this is the average gross income in Berlin, and of course we also have a gender pay gap here in the capital, what is slightly lower than the average in Germany, what is good. So yeah, if you have more questions and you want to have a personal consultation, please write us an email. You can use this email address. You will find all EURES advisors on the EURES portal. If you are currently in Berlin, don't hesitate to visit us at the Welcome Center. And if you scan the QR code on the right side, you will find your way to the job portal of the Federal Employment Agency, and you will find all of our 20,000 open job vacancies. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I hope it was interesting for you. And feel free to ask questions. I'm trying to answer them.
Thank you, Katja, for the information you gave to us. Actually, the public chat is start working at the moment, so I don't have so many questions, but I think some questions we can do it. You talked about the internship before. Was it in general, or there are some specific things regarding the internship in the ICT field?
Yes, I mean, we get many requests from all over Europe and also from the third states regarding internship, and I can only repeat it. Apply for the job positions. I mean, we have also portals where companies offer their internships, but they are more for the students that are studying in Germany. So when you're a student in Germany, then companies are more interested, but only to come for an internship to Berlin, it's very, very hard. And for the company, it's a time investment, and they don't like to do it. Yeah. In general, we can say it's very, very hard to find an internship.
But can it be maybe a possibility for the candidates that are coming with an opportunity card so that they can get an internship, so that they know the company, they know each other, and after that getting a job? Is it not an option?
Yeah, it's of course an option. If you have this opportunity card and you're looking for a job in Germany, of course you can also register at the Federal Employment Agency, and then we can look for a company where you can do an internship. But I can only repeat it, it's not very easy.
Okay, thank you very much. I will write the email address at the public chat so that the candidates will have the possibility to contact you if they have some questions or if they want to apply. Thank you for being here with us. I wish you a nice day, a nice evening, and you will see you maybe in another event in our European Online Job Day in June. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And welcome everybody from my side. I'm so happy to be part of the European Online Job Day, and I hope you guys already have a very valuable time. Again, my name is Catherine. I'm the speaker for this topic. We will talk about vocational training made here in Germany. I'm a ZAV and a EURES advisor. And I want to dive in with you right away, because I'm sure you can't wait to hear what vocational training is all about. It is a pioneering aspect of German life and society, actually, since the 1960s. I will give you a brief overview, our agenda for today. Maybe some of you haven't even heard of the term vocational training. Then I will show you how to find placements, because that's very critical as well. What are the requirements? What are your perspectives and prospects afterwards? And then to sum it up, I will share with you 10 good reasons why this is or might be for you. All right, what is a vocational training? It is part of the German education system, and it offers school graduates, so middle or high school graduates, typically to enter into a vast pool of opportunities to get a professional qualification. It typically, so we will distinguish between dual vocational training. There's also a school-based vocational training, but here we will focus on a dual vocational training, since this makes up 70% of all vacancies. So dual, as it says already in the word, it consists of two parts, actually two learning places. One is the company, where you will spend time at the company learning practical aspects of your future vocation. And then you also have a theoretical part, which will take place at the school. It's super exciting, and what makes it unique, you actually will earn money. You will get a monthly training salary for the duration of the entire training. And what's also neat, it is staggered throughout the course of your vocational training, which typically takes place between 2 and 3.5 years. So depending on which program you choose, it varies, and this is typically the time span. The dual vocational training is recognized throughout Germany. So Germany-wide, you can work with this qualification, and it is also internationally recognized, which makes this also very attractive. We can look at a very high success rate. So 90% is the final exam pass rate, which makes it also, it's a statement in and of itself. So you will get really good training. You will be prepped also in a way that will set you up for success. And not just that, later on also in the world of work. What's also important to know is the commencement of every year. So it's a little bit particular. So with a job, you can technically start at any given moment. Not so with vocational training. It commences typically late summer to early fall, typically around the 1st of August or 1st of September. Additionally, it's good to know in the hotel, gastronomy, and healthcare industry, it's a little bit different, and they do vary, and they can offer additional commencement throughout the year. So be on the lookout, but this is something to be aware of, that you can typically start once, maybe even twice a year. All right, what's also exciting is that there is over 300 different vocational qualifications you can choose from. So it's a vast array of opportunities. There's lots of vocations to choose from. And of course, there's some more in high demand, some not so much in high demand. Typically or currently, nursing is definitely at the forefront, the healthcare sector in general, all the technical professions, education, trade and craft, professional drivers, HVAC, manual labor and stuff, that is very much in demand. But obviously you shouldn't just look for what is in demand, but what fits for you. So I will go into that here in a little while. But good news, there's the right career for everybody, most likely. Before we dive into more specifics, I want to give you a little bit numbers to also show you how attractive this is and how many opportunities there are in Germany at the moment. There are many vacancies right now, 80 applicants for every 100 registered vocational training places. So you see there's a gap that not all vacancies can be filled. There's a little older number from 2023, but much hasn't changed. That over 70,000 plus positions remained open throughout the course of the year. So, which also means a number of German trainees, they are mostly falling back. They're focusing more on the university side or otherwise. Needless to say, there's more room for you, for people from outside, from abroad, to secure a vocational training. It is a steadily growing field, and the number of foreign trainees are also increasing, which means you will be in a classroom and in a company with other people from abroad, which is super exciting. And again, just to be fair, a lot of trainees do end up in the healthcare and nursing sectors, and you can also see the numbers that over 200,000 trainees completed a vocational training in the healthcare and nursing sector. It is at the forefront, but that doesn't mean that's what you should do for yourself. All right, where to begin your search? That might be your question that you have. We will give you some really good resources that might benefit you in your search. We have a wonderful website. It's called planet-beruf.de. And this is a wonderful resource where you can find vocational trainings. It will ask you also all sorts of questions on what is it that you might be looking for, the skill set, and everything you need to know where you need to start your search. So I highly recommend you write this down, take a snapshot, and go look for this webpage. A couple other good resources are berufe.tv. So this is a film portal on various professions, and it's very neat. Short films, short movies, where you can get really, really good impressions on what a daily life of this profession later on will look like. Also, when you think of healthcare sector, for example, nursing in some countries where you might live, nursing looks different than it does here. So I highly recommend just take a look, and you might get inspired, get confirmed on the profession you might be looking for. Also, Berufenet, so this is an encyclopedia of all professions that you can think of. This is one of the best websites I've ever seen, and this answers everything from what qualifications you need, what to expect, salary expectations, your continuing education opportunities, and so forth and so on. So it is also a very, very recommendable resource for you. Last but not least, we also have an app developed, so right for your fingertips, or you can use the website. This is also a one-stop shop for you, where you can see job or vocational training vacancies, and it's connected with the other resources I did just present. Next, we do also have an own job search engine, or it also searches for vocational trainings. It's called jobsuche.de. So once you go there, just be aware all of it is currently still in German, but you can type in what you're looking for, the region, the city, and you can filter what kind of vocational trainings are currently offered. Beware, this is not the only job search engine you can use. Just browse the web, but this is our in-house made job search engine. This is just another picture, another impression of what it looks like, what you can expect. On the left-hand side, you see the different examples, and then you can start browsing for the most important information on the company, the requirements, etc. So it's like a typical job search engine where it gives you everything at a glance and the most important information you need. This is now on this slide, you see it basically zoomed in. Typically, you see a short paragraph on the company, maybe what sector it is, and the talents you need to bring. You have everything in one-stop shop with pictures sometimes and really important information that you need later on for your application, your written application. But I will share that with you in a little while, and later on my colleague will really dive into the application process. Yes, speaking of application, here in Germany we have a proven process, so to speak. It consists of several parts. We have the written application and then also later on the job interview. But just as a brief introduction, written application consists of a cover letter. It's typically no longer than 1 page, a CV or resume, and your final school report card, your diploma, and German language certificates, if you do have them officially. All right, if your written application was convincing, so you found something on the job search, you did apply, you submitted all the documents, typically you can do this all electronically these days. If the company is excited to meet you, they will ask you for an interview. And obviously, since you're abroad, and even if you were here, most likely the first interview is online via Zoom, Teams, or other means. And it's really important to know, so although this is a dually built system where you do attend a school for the theoretical parts, the actual ultimate decision maker is the company itself. So they will make the decision if you can pursue the vocational training, because they're the ones they actually pay you and hired you. So and a successful application typically leads and means you got a contract for a vocational training, and such a contract is important for multiple reasons, but I will share that with you later. Contract is one of the requirements, but before that, typically you do need a diploma. So because each company decides what qualifications are expected, this may or may not be so important, but take a look at the job advertisement to see if the information, it's like a grocery list where you need to see all the things that you need to provide to make the meal, so to speak, in this analogy. Good news is graduation typically is not mandatory, but it is advantageous because you do compete amongst yourselves and amongst with other students in Germany. So it is advantageous if you do have a middle school, high school, or other diploma at hand, because that makes it easier for the employer to just select the trainee. What's also important, and you've heard this throughout the course of this event, is language skills. So we cannot stress it enough that German language speaking skills are very, very important. Whether it's in the company or in your vocational training and technical schools, you will be immersed with the language all day long. You need to take exams that are in German. It's crucial really for your success, for the application process, and for your daily living situation. It's important to note that you need at least a proficiency level of B1. And for non-EU citizens, it is a little bit negligible, but for non-EU citizens, for Europeans, it is negligible. For non-EU citizens, it is important because that is a requirement that you will receive a visa. So I mentioned the contract before, a training contract. It's like a pie, and there are several pieces that make up the whole. It regulates the duration, your rights and duties, your obligations to learn, the procedure, what you get paid, how long you need to train for, where you spend what time, how much vacation time you have, everything. So this is typically the result of a good and successful application process. It can be signed abroad, so you don't have to worry to travel all the way to Germany. You can e-sign this, or you can mail this from abroad. Our office and official bodies, we do check this, and there's also a fast-track procedure for skilled labor procedure, but this is a very specific information, and typically the company that hires you does or should be informed about this fast track application process to get you here faster. All right, visa, last but not least. I mentioned this before, so you need language skills. But yeah, the visa for non-EU citizens, it is applied for at the German embassy in your respective country of residence. There's two types of visa that I want to introduce to you. One is for admission to a vocational training, and one is for seeking a vocational training place. On the left-hand side, you need, for that type of visa, you need a vocational training contract. It's mandatory. Again, your B1 certificate. There's no age limit, but you need to secure your livelihood. And you can find all these numbers typically on the website of your German embassy in your respective countries. That livelihood number, the amount, is typically secured by the salary you will earn. If there is a discrepancy, you can also establish an escrow account or a declaration of commitment from a relative or anything if you have other resources, because you need to make sure that your livelihood in Germany is covered and secured while you're here. On top, there's exciting news that you can obtain a part-time job up to 20 hours per week. But yeah, typically at first you have to get adjusted, and this might be interesting later on along the line. On the right-hand side, seeking a vocational training place, you need a high school diploma, again, your B1 certificate level. Now, since last year in March, the age limit has risen to 35 years. You also need to secure your livelihood, and you can also take up a part-time job while you're here. All right, we're moving on to the next big question. What are your prospects after vocational training? So one is a residence permit as a qualified professional. That means you have successfully completed your training. You got a definite job offer from an employer in Germany, whether it's the one where you underwent the vocational training or it's a different one. You're taking up qualified employment, and you can do this even in a different profession. On the other hand, there is a visa for the job search. So let's say you completed your vocational training successfully, but you haven't secured your job just yet. You can still stay in Germany if you apply for this visa. It will be issued to you for up to 12 months. You just need to make sure your livelihood is secured and you have health insurance. And again, these kinds of information are available on the web, and we can provide them to you as well. Another exciting number is 70% of trainees are taking on a qualified profession at the end of their training. So this is a really large number. 90% passed their final exams and everything they completed successfully, and now 70% of all these graduates, they end up in a qualified employment. All right, we're moving on, getting close to the end. I hope you're still with me. I just want to give you a few good information with you so that you prepared, things well to know, things to avoid. What we want to share with you, it is worthwhile to do extensive research and preparation. So This is now a small endeavor. The better you prepared, the fruit will show later on in the process. Also, the analysis of personal strengths and weaknesses. Don't just go with what is high in demand. If you cannot see blood and you don't like working with people, it's probably not a good idea to end up in the healthcare sector. So go with your strengths, what you're passionate for, what you love, and don't make any false compromises. Choose your career first, so what you aspire for. Then you look for a training place for your job search, which will then also result in where you will reside. It is not recommendable to start, hey, you want to live in city XYZ and then you go backwards. Really go with what you want to do first, apply for it, and then this will determine where you will live. Also, make sure practice makes perfect. Practice as much German as you can before you get here. Your German will get better once you're here, but the better your German is beforehand, the easier it will be for you to have a smooth transition. Also, we recommend really professional behavior from the start to the end. Whether it's in your written application, in your interview, just there's some business etiquette that Germans are definitely picky about, and you want to make a good impression. Also, there is a prohibition period. That means once you're in this training, you can switch into a different one, but later on it will get more and more difficult. So also, hopefully you have perseverance, patience, and a positive mindset. Again, it's not just overnight this all happens. Neither it is for any Germans. They need to go through the same process. So we encourage you to persevere, be patient, have a positive mindset, and don't forget that when in doubt, you can contact us at all times. All right, this is my final part from my introduction to this interesting topic. I want to share with you 10 more good reasons why you should consider vocational training. Number one, it's the best of both worlds. So you get first on practical experience plus the theory in the classroom. You're well prepared for later on. It's very diverse. It's very interesting. Both of your skills, you can really dive into your skill sets. And it's just such a wonderful setup. Number two, you will make money right away. So you don't have to worry too much about how you afford this. In a lot of countries, when you study and do things, you have to pay a large amount of tuition. But here you will earn money right away. Also, I mentioned the timeline, 2 to 3.5 years is really not much. So you get to where you want to go in a really short amount of time. Number 4, you have great chances and prospects afterwards, whether it's to secure a job, to continue and go in a more specialized direction, and maybe one day you own your own company, you have your own trainees. These are all different options you can pursue. Number 5, you can also work your way up in different companies. This is just your basis. You're very qualified, and you can also build on your vocational training in many different ways. Number 6, you have really good earning wages and salary. So sometimes there's wrong information, but once you finish your vocational training with some work experience, you make more and more money, and it's in really high demand. So you can have a good standard of living. Number 7, again, you have strong perspectives. Again, multiple avenues in your life forward. If you want to bring your family or you want to establish a family, this is a good basis for you to do so. Number 8, the diversity. So there is a kind of vocational training for every talent. And also you can use your talents in the whole time of your training as well. And number 9, you can also be creative and proactive in your training throughout the course. There's typically projects and other little details where it's not just you sit in a classroom, you listen, you take a test. No, it's way more than this. You can be a creator and an inventor. You can really be proactive if that's what you want for and you long for, and you can start to be on fire and do something big. And number 10, this is still Germany, made in Germany, still quality brand. Again, you can work with this throughout Germany, in the entire world. If I was young again, I would do this for sure. And I can only highly recommend, for you to consider vocational training. All right, this is it. I hope it was beneficial. Thank you so much for your attention. And now, Besa, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them before we move on to some other subjects that are very interesting.
Thank you, Katrin. It was really interesting, and some things that I think it will help the candidates if they want to do a vocational training. And actually, I was also a little bit surprised because there are a lot of candidates in the chat writing right now that are interested to do a vocational training in Germany. So it's really nice. And I will ask you some questions. But before starting, I just wanted to, because there are a lot of questions regarding, are there any job vacancies about IT specialists or teachers or what's on? So we said it before at the first presentation of Ralph, and after that also the presentation of Katja regarding the labor market in Berlin. So there is a big demand in Germany regarding all these professions, but the most important thing is to speak the German language skills, to have these skills, and then you will increase your chances to find a job in Germany. So if you go to the website of our job portal, I put the link in the public chat already, you will see that we have more than 1 million job vacancies. But you will see also at the second point that the most of them requires German language skills. So we have a lot of vacancies, but if you really want to come to Germany, please start learning the language. We have also some links in the public chat where you have some German courses for free. So just start, and then at the moment you have a A2, B1 German level, please contact us again, and then we'll try to support you to find something. So let's start with the first question, Katrin. Under what conditions is possible to start vocational training, and what is the difference with a diploma obtained in Europe?
This is a general question. You can typically start a vocational training at any given moment. Maybe it's important to know that, if you look in the landscape in Germany, most younger folks, graduates after high school, they pursue a vocational training. So they range between 18 and 30. Technically, there's no age limit, and you can join at any time. But it's only important to convince the employer. So that is, other than that, there's no really regulations. Really, there's low entrance qualifications that you need to bring with you.
Thank you. Then another question, is the vocational training accessible to the international students or to those who are immigrating to Germany?
Yes, absolutely. So you don't have to be a German citizen or European citizen, regardless where you are in this world. There is a visa and a way to come to Germany and take up a vocational training. So all you need is to an employer who is looking for you, who wants to have you, who is willing then to sign a contract. And with this contract and your language skills, you then obtain a visa at the German embassy where you are in the country where you reside, and you can make your way to Germany and start at the commencement of your program.
Okay, thank you. Then another questions. I'm from Sri Lanka, citizen interested in vocational training opportunities in Germany. I have a few questions and would appreciate your guidance. Is there a cost for vocational training programs, or are they funded by the government or employers? What is the likelihood of Sri Lankan candidates being selected for vocational training? Are accommodations provided for participants, or will I need to arrange my own? And the last one, is it possible to do part-time jobs during the vocational training period? So it was 4 questions in one.
All right, thanks, Besa. Maybe you need to remind me if I'm if I lost something. But first of all, so your individual situation is individual. So we're not able to give you an exact statement, yes or no. But whether you're from Sri Lanka or any other country, that doesn't matter. You know, it's the skills you bring with you, the energy that you want to come here, and all of that. Also, it is negotiable with the employer to help you with moving and other expenses, but that's also an individual level. So there's no rule that an employer or this process needs to be in a certain way, what they provide you. You did ask about tuition. So there for some vocational trainings, there is tuition. It's more for the school-based ones, but again, 70% you will go through a company, so they will then provide you a salary which will cover the cost of the entire program. So there's funding, and you typically shouldn't worry about finances. But again, for more individual questions, just email us, phone us, and also I can highly recommend the website again, makeitingermany.com. There is a lot of good information to frequently ask questions.
Thank you very much. So thank you for being here, Katrin. It was a pleasure, and I wish you a nice evening, and we'll get in some seconds, I think, in the next presentation regarding the recognition process. Thank you. See you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
For a lot of you, not only the living conditions and the professions in demand are important, but also to have information regarding the recognition process, with actually for some professions mandatory to have. And that's why we are here with 2 of our colleagues, Chrysula and Alexander, who have supported a lot of candidates during all these years during this recognition process, and they will give you some tips, advices, explain what is the recognition process. We had before also some questions regarding regulated and not regulated professions. So here we are with 2 experts in this field, and yes, thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Chrysula Dimitrakopoulou, and this is my colleague.
Hello, my name is Alex.
We would also like to welcome you to the European Online Job Day. Together with Alex, we will introduce you the service Center for Professional Recognition. So you will receive a general overview of recognition in Germany. The abbreviation is ZSBA. You have been informed so far about the different ways to find a job here in Germany, and you have for sure heard that one important step in order to work here is the professional recognition. This means if you have obtained a professional qualification outside of Germany and you wish to work in Germany, and it's most likely that you will first need a recognition of your qualification. And in the following presentation, we would like to explain to you what you have to consider if you want to recognize this qualification. But first of all, let's introduce to you our agenda. First of all, we will introduce you the ZSBR. Then we will talk about recognition in general. What do we mean by it? And then we will also point out who needs a professional recognition. As next, we will see the different types of recognition. And after that, we will explain the difference between the so-called regulated and non-regulated professions. And we will give you one case study with the example of an engineer for a better understanding. And as next, we will share some helpful websites with you so you can do your own research. And at the end, we will give you our contact if you are interested in an individual consultation. So let's now introduce, as you can see, the Service Center for Professional Recognition, the ZSBR is the abbreviation. It was launched in 2020, and it's located in the beautiful city of Bonn. It's a quite unique service, and it was founded just a couple of years ago because the recognition procedure in Germany is quite complex and very difficult to understand, especially if you live abroad. There are more than 1,400 recognition authorities in Germany. There are 16 different federal states. We have federal system in Germany. And at the beginning, one is confused and doesn't know to whom one should turn. That's why we are here, the ZSBR, to assist you with our service. Of course, Alex and I, we are part of the ZSBR. We have a whole division of professional recognition in our service. There are two teams. Team 117 and 118, which are in charge of different profession groups. We will inform you about our responsibilities. And at the end of the presentation, you will also receive our contact details in order to get in touch with us. So the mission of the ZSBI is to guide and support professionals from abroad. Since our start, our goal has been to give transparency and efficiency in the recognition process. Another important information is that we are not a competent authority for recognition. So please keep this in mind because many people misunderstand it. This means we cannot decide whether or not your degree will be recognized at the end in Germany. Our job is to guide you, to assist you, to support you through the recognition progress, since, if I explained to you, it's very complicated. So, what does professional recognition actually mean? You know, of course, that the educational systems vary around the world. They're different. Therefore, professional recognition is basically the evaluation of the equivalence of foreign qualification. It means your education, your training, your work, your experience, your certificates you have. They will be compared to the German reference qualifications. And as you can see here, the legal basis, two laws, the Professional Qualifications Assessment, BQFG, abbreviated. It's actually meant so everybody, regardless of nationality or place of residence, has a chance of recognition. So it applies also to third countries outside of the European Union. And the second legal basis is the FEG, the Fachkräfteeinwanderungsgesetz. That would be the Skilled Immigration Act for qualified professionals that came into force on March 2020. So to boost the immigration of qualified individuals from abroad. Professional recognition often provides more transparency, and it helps also the German employer to understand the foreign professional qualification. Let's say I'm an employer and you apply, I see your degree and I say, okay, I have a degree, it's a bachelor from, I don't know, from Ghana or from Greece, I'm from Greece. Is it recognized in Germany? Is it equivalent to a German degree? Were his or her studies according to the standards of Germany? And the consequence, the professional recognition, of course, helps you to be more successful and to have more chances when applying for a job in Germany, to have easier access to the German labor market. So let's see now in detail the recognition procedure. Of course, you're first to prepare all the required documents before submitting them. There is unfortunately no general list of the documents required because we have federal system, 16 different competent authorities. They have all their own lists of required documents. So it's very important to check first in which form the documents have to be submitted. Some authorities accept certified copies from notary public, while others need certified copies from the embassies. The same applies for the translations. Here also you have to check if it's okay to make the translations in your home country, or maybe if you need to send them to Germany to be translated. Please always contact the competent authority in advance for advice. Which documents do I need? Which certificates need to be translated? Which need to be certified? It's also important to have your documents complete before you submit them. If documents are missing, we make the experience that the competent authorities then often extend the recognition procedure by months. So make sure they're complete before submitting them. Our service from ZSBA can also assist you with submitting the documents by checking them, controlling them if they're okay. But of course, the application will not be submitted by us, but by you. And it's mostly done either by post, sometimes, rarely also online. There are some now authorities that also accept online. You need to submit certificates and documents which provide information on aspects such as contents and duration of your qualification. That means your degree, your transcripts, including if you need it in your country to have a professional license in order to do this job. Any relevant professional or occupational experience is also important. In case there are differences, then they can compensate this difference maybe. So then the competent authority in Germany, the Anerkennungsstelle, will check whether your foreign qualification corresponds to the German reference occupation or whether there are significant differences. There are different results possible. If you receive a complete recognition, you will have immediate access to labor market. And if you receive a partial recognition, you will need additional training courses in Germany. Most of the part, this is the case with the professional recognition of nursing and healthcare professions, such as nurse, midwife, physiotherapist, because the educational systems are different. And then you will have to participate in an adaptation training. Now my colleague will take over.
So thank you very much, Chrisula, for the interesting information. Yeah, we broke it down a bit, the process, into in 5 small columns that you see here. As Chrisula already mentioned very completely, is that we have plenty of recognition bodies, so competent authorities. There's an amount of more of 1,000 competent authorities. Therefore, it's very important to determine beforehand, so before submitting your application for recognition to the competent authority, to check the reference qualification, because the competent authority is depending, or the identification of the competent authority is depending on the reference qualification. Priscilla also mentioned already the fact that we have several federal states in Germany, so legislation can also vary from region to region. So there could be different legislation that is slightly different from each other. Therefore, we have some tools to help you find the competent authority yourself, or you can also ask us at ZAV and ZSBA. Of course, we are always there for you. It's very important to prepare the document and the paperwork beforehand, as Christine also already said, before submitting your application to the competent authority. So we can assist you with answering questions like which documents are needed, which documents are needed in certified copies, do you need a translated certificate, and so on. So we are there also to assist you enabling the completeness of your documentation in order to avoid more waiting times afterwards. So in the next step, in the middle of the columns, you see the real starting of the process, since this is a moment where you will submit your documents to the competent authority. So after that, the competent authority will have received your documentation that hopefully is complete. They will assess all the sent documents and will check the duration and contents of your qualification and compare it to the duration and contents of the reference qualification, the German reference qualification. So in the end, they will take a decision whether or not your qualification from your home country will be considered fully equivalent or partially equivalent. In case you will be issued partial equivalence, there will be the need of compensation courses. Here I'm using the words equivalence and recognition interchangeably. So we use both of the words, but they are meaning the same, actually. Yes, so let's come to the crucial question: who needs a recognition statement? There's a list of people who will have mandatorily the need of the recognition. First of all, of course, the regulated professions such as physician or the healthcare system. Many professions will require the recognition statement. Then the recognition itself could facilitate you the process for visa issuing or for the application towards employers in Germany to make them understand the content of your qualification. So also, if you are the holder of a professional title that is regulated in Germany, such as an engineer, for example, it's mandatory to have that kind of statement. Last but not least, also, if you want to work as a self-employed and run an own business, it's necessary for you to have the recognition statement. We already roughly talked about the possible outcomes of the assessment. So, as Christula also mentioned already, is that one result is the complete equivalence or recognition. In this case, I said that we are changing this. It is the same meaning, equivalence and recognition. I saw it on this slide. It's a bit, we change it. So with the proof of the complete equivalence, you have free access to the German labor market. That means you can directly apply at an employer. With the partial recognition, I also already mentioned that there are supplementary qualification courses needed. So after you will successfully have them realized, you could also go and apply again for the next step and to strive for the complete equivalence. Yeah, we also mentioned already the new Fachkräfteeinwanderungsgesetz. It's a strange and long word, so don't get confused. It's also abbreviation FEG. It actually it just means it's a new act on labor market migration. It's active since last year, and it opens new possibilities for skilled workers from abroad to access the German labor market. So I brought here with me, I hope it's readable for you, two examples for chances that are now available for skilled workers from abroad, such as the Chancenkarte. It's like a chance card. I don't know if it's a good translation. And the Anerkennungspartnerschaft. So the Chancenkarte just means we integrated in Germany some kind of point system that is accumulating points for several features, like if you have language skills already, you get 1 point, for example. Then if you have relatives already living in Germany, you get another points. So in the end, you can accumulate, and there's a total of points. After reaching it, you can easily apply for a visa and get a bonus. So if you would like to learn more about that, you can contact us after that presentation. The second chance that I listed here is the Anerkennungspartnerschaft. It's actually partnership or cooperation between your employer and you. So if you are going to apply for a job in Germany and find an employer, you make some kind of contract in order that he will help you with, so the employer will help you with recognition procedure. And yeah, the advantage is that you can already start entering Germany and start working before actually submitting the application for recognition. Yeah, let's have a closer look on the types of recognition. I set up a table here. It's not that messy as it seems. It's just I will have a small explanation. So the purpose of the recognition is always very similar, so quite the same. If you see, it's always the proof of content of training, or it helps you to find an employer or being issued a visa. The only difference is that I listed here 3 kinds of different professions. So the so-called chamber professions, which you see in the second column, the regulated professions, that is only a very slight summarize of possibilities, and the academics. For me, it was important here to distinguish between the professions and academics, since with academics you can, since you have a degree from a university that is also recognized in the academic field, there are different or more visa possibilities for you. So please keep that in mind. Academic recognition is not the same as professional recognition. And also, if you have questions about that topic, you can also contact us anytime.
One very helpful tool, you will see now 2 different tools. One very important tool, which we use also every day, is the database ANABIN. It's from the Central Office for Foreign Education, the so-called ZAB. It's also in Bonn. With the database ANABIN, you can find if there is any information on your degree, on your academic degree, and if it's recognized in Germany. So if your university or degree is not listed in Germany, in ANABIN, it doesn't mean that it's not recognized in Germany. It only means that ZAB has not done an assessment yet, and it's not in the database ANABIN, because it doesn't claim to be complete. So don't be disappointed right away. I know the entire site comes in German language, but at the beginning it's confusing, but it's not that difficult to understand. On the left side, you will see all the options you have. If you look for Institutionen, that's the university, and if you want to look for the degree, you have to click on Hochschulabschlüsse. And then you can go and type in the upper corner to see the countries. So you have to check Länderauswahl, and then you have to confirm it, bestätigen. It might be a bit complicated at the beginning. But then you have to, what I do if I want to use look for university, maybe it has 3-4 names, narrow down your search. You might use a unique identifier, like Azad University. You have Islam, Azad University. Use the word Islam or Azad. So one keyword is maybe easier to find it. And once you have found the university, then you have, there is a small purple plus icon. You click on that, and window pops up, and then you will see the status. So this is very important for you. There are 3 different options. There's the H+, which it means your university is recognized in Germany. Then there is the H-, which means that unfortunately your degree is not recognized, your university is not recognized in Germany. I would suggest then you go to the frequent asked questions and see about the options you have. And then most of the times you have the third option, H+-. What does this mean? It means that if your university has this ranking, it means that there is no clear recognition status for your university. And then each degree has to be evaluated, and it's decided on a case-by-case basis. And then you would have to apply for a statement of comparability. It doesn't mean right away that it's not recognized. Maybe your university is private and you might need to give further proof, further documents in order to prove that your study program was maybe accredited in your country at the time you were studying or at the time you received your degree. In any case, you need a statement of comparability. If you see H+- for your university, you know I have to apply for a statement of comparability. So this is if you have this, of course, you print it out and you save it for the visa application, and if you need one. And then the second step would be to look up your university degree in ANABEN. Here it's very important to do also this step. If you need a blue card or a German work visa, you definitely then need both steps to get all the information and the printouts you need. Here again, you click Hochschulabschlüsse, it means university degrees, and you have 2 options. I always prefer Abschlusstypen to look for type of the degree, so you see if it's recognized, and then the specific one. Please, when looking up the university degree, make sure that degree title on ANABEN exactly matches the title of the degree you obtained. If this is not the case, the ANABEN excerpt will most probably not be accepted as proof of recognition by the visa section of the embassy. We have made this experience. So once you have found your degree, again, click on the small purple plus icon, and then opens a pop-up window with detailed information. You again have 3 different classifications. The one is, you see the word gleichwertig, which means that's equivalent. If this is the case, then there are no formal differences between your degree and the German degree. Okay, then it's easy to receive the visa. If it says entspricht, then your degree might have some differences, but not that significant differences, and it's considered as equivalent to a German degree, entspricht. If you have the third, bedingt vergleichbar, then it's conditionally comparable, meaning that there are formal differences to the corresponding academic degree in Germany, and in this case you have to apply for a statement of comparability. So exactly what qualification you need depends on what you want to use the ANABEN excerpt for. In many cases, a classification of gleichwertig or entspricht, combined with H+ status from the university, is sufficient. So make sure you know exactly what type of classification you need for your paperwork. For example, if you need to prove your recognition for a new blue card application, you will most likely need a classification of gleichwertig and entspricht. And then you print out. You can use both printouts in combination as proof of recognition for your visa application or German work visa. Just simply attach both printouts to your visa application when you have the appointment at the embassy. The second very helpful website, which I use almost every day, is Anerkennung in Deutschland. It's a very important tool. It's the information portal of the German federal government for the recognition of foreign professional or vocational qualification. It provides information about all the necessary steps to get your profession recognized in Germany. You'll click on the recognition finder, select your profession, and you check by this whether official recognition of your qualification is a requirement or would help you to find a job in Germany. And it guides you to the appropriate authority, that one that is in your place you want to work and you want to live. So you have to decide beforehand, where will I work, where will I live? Once you have chosen them and answered some questions, like they ask you, have you received your qualification inside or outside the EU? Do you already live in Germany or not? Then you receive all the links to the websites of the authority in charge, the email addresses, the application form, how much it costs, what language skills you must have for this profession. And it also provides up-to-date information about the legal basis and the general procedure for gaining recognition and the actual recognition process. And we actually use it every day when we have questions from you by email. Let's come to the next point.
So thank you very much again. So I invite you now to have a closer look on regulated professions, very roughly, and speed it up a bit. Given the EU Directive 2005/36 EC is a bit formal now, but this directive enables you as an EU citizen to go for the so-called automatic recognition. That is the case for medical practitioners like physicians, dentists, veterinarians, pharmacists, and so on. You see the list here. So that simply means that the formal process of recognition is a bit faster, and the issuing of the professional license is facilitated. You get issued Europäischer Berufsausweis, that is European Professional Card. This is a digital proof of recognition and enables you to work in your profession of origin. And it's connected to the EU legislation. It enables you and other healthcare practitioners, for example, to gain more professional and international flexibility, and helps the European unification process.
Now we would like to give you an example, the case study of an engineer. The professional title of engineers is regulated. That is, not the whole profession is regulated, but only the title. The professional title is subject to special protection, and you need a permit from the Chamber of Engineers to use this professional title. Otherwise, you're not allowed to call yourself engineer in Germany. That means when you write the engineer title on business cards or after your name in an email communication, it would be illegal because you first need the approval for use of the professional title. In German, it's called Erteilung der Genehmigung zum Führen der Berufsbezeichnung Ingenieur oder Ingenieurin. So it's not a problem, of course, at all if you want simply to work for an employer in Germany without this professional title. Even if you need to apply for a work visa, it's not always to apply it's not mandatory that you apply beforehand for the recognition of the professional title. But we recommend doing it because if you want to work in certain fields, if you want, let's say, for a company and you have to sign important documents, or if you want to use the professional title, as I said before, in a business card, then in this case, you must first ask permission from a German authority. So just remember, you can apply for a job in Germany as an engineer, but you need to ask for permission to call yourself engineer. I know many of you have questions regarding the language skills. In order to have good chances for a job in Germany as an engineer, it's highly recommended to have German language skills at least BA level. B2 would be even better, because without sufficient language skills, it's very unlikely to find a job. Of course, you can start learning now, online or taking classes. Now we have the contacts, general information you can receive from our hotline. We have 2 email addresses, Recognition and Arbeitsagentur, Take Your Chance, and also, of course, the website of Make It in Germany and the app. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your application in case.
Thank you for the presentation. And I see we have a really thousand of questions in the public chat. So I think the most important thing to do before starting the questions is, because there are a lot of candidates asking what's the difference between ZSBA, ZAB, ANABIN, what is recognition, which is a website, who is important for me. So maybe it's just to take an overview in some questions. What are you doing? So I tried to write in the public chat the differences between all these authorities, but maybe just to do also a difference between the websites ANABIN and also Anerkennung in Germany. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for this complex question. We can make another presentation out of that, but we don't do that now. So first of all, ANABIN is a database. It's very important. It's not an institution. ANABIN is just a database cured by ZAB. ZAB is an institution that is responsible for the academic recognition, roughly. So easy. If we want to keep it simple, and for non-regulated, since last year, for the non-regulated area, but it's not a real professional recognition. Then ZSBA is our department, and we are assisting you with the recognition procedure itself. So we are assisting you with gathering all the paperwork and prepare the application for professional recognition. And what was the other institution?
We also help you to find the competent authority. Which is the competent authority, because it's very complex. We also accompany you through the whole procedure. We don't recognize. It's not our mission to recognize, and we cannot decide on that. But you can tell you if you have chances with your degree. It is that recognized in Germany, yes or not, or if it's going to be, how the chances are. And the ZAB is for non-regulated, and then the competent authorities are for the regulated professions, like nurse, midwife, physiotherapists, all the healthcare professions, dentist, physician, pharmacist. All these professions are regulated, and they have to be being recognized by the competent authorities, not by the ZAB. ZAB does all the non-regulated professions, like if you're a biologist, mathematician, professions like that.
Okay, then the last questions, because we're a little bit late in time. Does my EU degree, Masters in Logistics, need to be recognized?
So as an EU citizen, for being issued a visa, it's not mandatory, but for the working purposes, it depends on the employer. So it's never bad to have a recognition, but it's up to you. I don't know your individual case, but depending on your nationality, it's not mandatory, but may be helpful. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I will try to answer the other questions in the public chat, and then after a small break, we'll get to another guest, the last one, but not less important, regarding the application process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, all together. Welcome to the last topic on the European Online Job Day today. I hope last but not least topic. I would like process in Germany and how to be successful with this, how to convince employers to hire you at least. So I would like to start with the agenda, what I'm going to talk about, at least our services as a support. Then I'm going to talk about the job search, the motivation letter, and how to create a good resume. And at last, of course, the second stage, very proactive, the job interview. So let me introduce you the Make It in Germany portal. It has been mentioned several times. It's a governmental portal for skilled workers around the world, and it's available in several languages, and at least in one word, it makes job hunting easier. At least you will find a lot of job listings of companies willing to hire professionals who live in other parts of the world. And also you will find some hints and some good information for your application as well. As a next support, very personal individual, I would like to show you and introduce you to the International and Specialized Service of the ZAV. We are part of the Federal Employment Agency, and this is our international service. I'm also working for this part, for this department, and you see in the lot of topics we serve every day, I would like to go with you in the advice on CV and application today. So, let's step on the next page. I would like to talk to you about the investigation, about companies, and about the job, about the application folder itself, and what it contains, the written applications, motivation letters, CV, and the annexes, and at least, if you're successful at the last stage, hopefully, a good presentation at the job interview. I would like to recommend to start with creating a real good individual concept of your individual competences. I recommend that you have some questions which should guide you during this, like what would I like to do? What are the employers looking for? What are the requirements of the job I'm looking for? And am I enough qualified? Maybe I'm overqualified. When does it be promising to apply for such a job? What qualifications do I possess or do I not possess? And at least what additional skills do I have to offer? With this concept, it's promising to start analyzing the job vacancies which are advertised and published, because you will have to take over from this job opening. You will find the proactive role in this very selective process. This means you will have to search for such published job openings. First, I would like to introduce you the Jobbörse, an official database of the Agency of Employment, and also applicants. Not only employers can publish their open positions, but applicants also can publish their profile, and our international applicants, which are registered with us, they also have a profile in this database and can be found by employers. So you also can do, even if you're not registered there, an online job search on this database. You could see it's structured in a lot of fields you even can recognize by the pictures. I have to be honest, most of the job description and job advertisings are written in German. So if you analyze these job descriptions and fulfill about 70, let's say 80% of the must-have requirements, it's promising that you apply for this. But the database of the Agency of Employment, as you could see here, for example, with the job openings written by each employer, is not the only source which you could use. Of course, a lot of employers use this source to publish their vacant positions. So you also have a lot of online job search possibilities, like the European Employment Services, which have a big database. Then our job database, as I mentioned, the job listings on Make It in Germany, as I told you, with employers willing to hire candidates from abroad. Of course, you can also look at companies' websites, at business networks. You could search engines, or you could try initiate your own application, even if there's an interesting employer, but you do not find a published vacancy. You just could give it a try. These are the sources how to find such job vacancies and how to read them and compare them to your individual profile, to your concept. And then when you say like 70-80% is promising, then start with the application. What does applying mean? This means you create written application documents like the motivation letter. It looks like a business letter, and you explain to the employer why you just apply. Explain your reason for your application. For example, career development. Explain why your background makes you the best for the position. You do not have the best employee, but you have to be the best employee to fit just in this position. And describe your interest in the company. This means all this should convince the employer to have the wish to get to know you better. This letter should not be more than 1 page maximum, and at least have a signature as a sign that you appreciate the employer and the position you apply for. There's a closing paragraph before kind regards in your signature, which calls for some action, like I would be pleased for a phone conversation or for an invitation for a job interview. So make sure your data are correct and up to date, no old phone numbers, your email is appropriate, and use correct data. This is very, very important. So if you have an application photo, in some countries this is not very welcome, but in Germany they like it very much. I recommend to care for a professional photograph, no vacation or leisure photos, no selfies, colored or black and white would be okay, and a business look. Make sure that you have a friendly, pleasant appearance in a business manner. You just also can smile. There's no opposite to that. So the second part of your written application documents, it's not a repetition of your motivation letter, or as it's called otherwise cover letter, should be your curriculum vitae or resume. Maximum 2 up to 3 pages long. You do not write long texts. You see, you use a unique font, a unique appearance, a unique font size, so it looks like a business. You mention your personal data, your contact details as a headline, and make sure these contact details are appropriate, up to date, and correct. When you use an email address, don't use an email address you would just need for friends or families or for your hobbies. Make sure it sounds a little bit serious and more businesslike. So then the parts are from your work experience, and on the second page I'm moving to right now, you see your education, your highest degrees, your highest qualifications, and of course if you have some additional social engagement, some language skills, or some special knowledge which might be good for the employer, you could mention it here. Your CV is not a repetition of your motivation letter, of course. Don't write long text. It's harder to make short, precise bullet points, but so the HR manager or the employer can get it at one look, your qualification, your work experience, at just one glance and very quickly. And at least as a sign of appreciation, a good signature at least, if possible, at least a good scan. So these are your written documents. Of course, you also can add some additional documents like some additional degrees, some testimonials, copies of them, letter of references, or if you have other qualifications as well. So these are usually your written application documents. You submit them via email, via a portal, or if the employer gives in the job opening some contact details, you submit them to these contact details given there. If you're successful with your closing paragraph and your motivation letter really showed your motivation, and the employer says, yes, that's a candidate I like to get to know much better, the employer might contact you, and then you're on the second stage. Maybe you get an invitation for the job interview. I recommend always a good preparation pays off. When you have it in person, take the name and number of your contact person. Read the description of the vacancy in advance. If you travel, have some travel documents with you, and of course, a list of your questions. Be prepared, have a note and pen, and keep your cell phone muted, of course. So there's no disturbing. If it's online, the same rules apply. Deal with typical questions. Typical questions like your strong points, your weaknesses. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be with your career in next 5 years? Or like typical common questions like, what was your last successful or not so successful project? And a question like, why do you want to work for that company? Or the question, why should we hire just you? If you're not prepared, if you didn't deal with such common questions, which either aim at professional experience or at personal issues, personal character traits, then this could be a disadvantage for you if you're not ready to answer what you yourself in 5 years, or not planning the career as a strategy, or why should we hire you. If you're not able to answer that, the HR manager of the company will think, if he or she doesn't know, why should we know how to hire her or him? So it definitely pays off. And of course, work on a self-presentation, some short sentences, learn them by heart, memorize them so that the questions, oh, please tell us about yourself. It's easy that you recite and tell about your sentences, your short self-presentation. This also makes the conversation in the job interview much more easier and more ongoing, and the questions will be more fluent then. So study the company's website. What is their focus? Is it a big company, family-run company? Are there some upcoming events? It definitely pays off if the question comes, why do you want just work for our company? Deal with the common job interview questions in advance. Be prepared. It's definitely worth it. It might be your success if you invest in that time. And at least ask yourself, am I prepared? Can I describe my future everyday work life, what it does look like? For example, if I start working tomorrow at this company I apply for, can I describe my everyday work life just so everyone sees it? If yes, this might be also a plus for you in the job interview. So in this selective process, it's important that you convince the employer that you're the best competitor of all applicants which are selected from the written application process, from the written application stage. you're the best of the chosen ones in order to get the contract. If the employer calls you to make an appointment for the interview, be ready, be prepared to speak German, find a suitable, quiet location, make sure either your cell phone or your laptop is charged enough, have your CV next to you, have some questions prepared just for this company, and remember, your voice is your friend always. Never hesitate. If you do not understand, don't say like, or be silent. No, just dare to ask if something you didn't understand instead of being silent. Much, much better. So at least I would like to thank you. I would like to show you, you can contact us, the customer center in the international service in the Federal Agency of Employment via the portal Make It in Germany. You see service contact us email. There's a form you could use. You can contact us in the topics job search, work and career, all around these topics via phone. You see here. You find it on the website makeitgermany.com as well. And if I move on to the last slide, you see the number again. You find it on the makeitingermany.com website. These are the only contact details you need at least. And the email, take your chance at arbeitsagentur.de. These are the only details you need to get in touch with us and get support and information. And now I'm ready for your questions. I'm looking forward for them.
Thank you, Heike. There are not so many questions for this part because I tried to answer the most of them. So it was also important for the candidates to know which is there any standard template to use? So if you want to say something about it, and there was another question if it's better to send the CV as a PDF or Word, in German or English, so just these kind of questions.
Oh, thank you very much. So I would like to first tell you about the templates. Of course, the structure of this letter. You could use templates to keep the structure. I rather recommend to use it only for the structure, not for the content. I recommend to create always a very individual cover letter. Excuse me for this comparison. Everyone likes a friendly letter of a personal friend much more than a lot of commercials. So I recommend not to use a template for all the same content, but only to keep the structure as a frame and fill in the content individually for each employer and for each position. This is promising more success. Rather 10 individual applications than hundreds templates copied and pasted. So this is for the templates. Of course, there are templates helping to keep the structure. We would support with this also. What was the last question? The next question?
Regarding the language, German or English, and then if it's okay, it's PDF or Word.
Okay, thank you. So the language, if you can do it, if possible, without grammar mistakes, and if you have the language skills, I encourage you to do it in German language. For us to give it advice, to contact us, to get support and advice and information, German or English both will do. But usually German, as you can see in the job openings, very often employers, when they write German, or also require German language as a must-have skill, then I recommend to do it in German language. And usually the job opening also gives us some hints if the employer wants to have PDF or uploads in a portal or via normal mail. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much, and thank you also from the audience. they are sending us some emails, some chats that everything was fine and it was very informative. So thank you, Heike, for being here today and give us this overview about the application process in Germany. And I wish you a nice evening and maybe see you next time. Thank you. And here we are again. We are just now at the end of this event. I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for the participation. I thank you also for all these messages you sent to us. And of course, there are a lot of questions that we cannot answer, but you can reach us at our email address, take-your-chance@arbeitsagentur.de. And I also want to thank all the participants, all the speakers that was here today with me. And it's very important to have these colleagues to make this event happen and successful also. So the last thing I want to mention before closing the event is that please be a little bit patient, because we have already started contacting the candidates, but we have a lot of emails at the moment. So it will take maybe some weeks to answer to everyone. So I assure you that you will get an email from our email account. That's way. Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Please start learning German if you want to come to Germany. It will help you, and you will have better chances to find a job here. So maybe we see us again. And for you, for the candidates that will start learning the German language up to now, maybe you can come again to our next event. It will be in June, so maybe with other job opportunities and other chances for you. Thank you. Have a nice evening.